All right, day 2, levels of classification. The point of today is to make you realize that um, the system to name organisms starts at very broad and then works its way down to a very specific animal or plant or fungus or protist or bacteria. So we start very large. We start with our domain and we go all the way down. Please remember the rap song that you listen to um, of listing each of those. Your job is going to be to do another one of those dichotomous keys, choosing one of the two and making your way to a very specific name of a fish for this assignment. And then you will be working with the classification system and looking at a graphic and working backwards to see if you can see where different animals belong, which phylum do they belong to, what class, what genus. So pay attention to this lesson about all the classification systems and learn why we classify things. All right, here we go with our levels of classification slides and the lesson and activity that's going to go along with it today. So we've talked about Carolus Linnaeus and his point in making up what was known as binomial nomenclature, giving an organism two names that were very specific to only that organism. Now, he did this back in the day when he was looking at the outside appearance of an organism in order to name them. But that gave way to our big way of classifying things, going from the largest up there, the domain, and working our way down and getting smaller and smaller and more specific until we use the genus and the species to actually name something. So, really, what's the point of us learning all this? It's this. This is our point. A jellyfish is not made of jelly, nor is it a fish. How about a seahorse? Not a horse, but is a fish. How about a starfish? Not a fish, not a star. Also this, let me give you an example. Here is a cougar. Here is a puma. There's a mountain lion. Can you see how this would be confusing if we did not have specific names for these organisms? In parts of the world, this animal has different names, but if we break it down to its scientific name using our classification system, then that specific organism has two names and everyone will know what we're talking about. So back to Carolus Linnaeus and his binomial nomenclature. The first word is the genus, and you can see in that upside down triangle over on the right, genus is the next to last classification level, and then we get to species, which is extremely specific. For example, that mountain lion or cougar or puma, its scientific name is Puma concolor. The genus is Puma. It's got a capital P at the beginning. That's how we write it scientifically. And the species, concolor, is lowercase at the beginning with that C, and it is very specific to that one animal. Let's take a look at another animal. Here's our lion. Our lion is Panthera leo. Capital P is the genus, and then lowercase l, Leo, for the species. It is a specific type of lion. Scientists have a sense of humor. So there are some organisms out there that have some more fun names. For example, here is your typical llama. A llama's scientific name is one of my favorites. It is Llama Glama. You can see the capital L, lowercase g, Llama Glama. What about this? Anybody know what this is? This is a type of sponge. Somebody named it Spongiforma squarepantsi, after SpongeBob SquarePants. And then one of my favorite types of plants is named after Lady Gaga. It is a type of fern, and they named it Gaga germanata. All these words are Latin and apparently pretty hard for me to pronounce. So taxonomy, that is going from your domain, your largest, you can see box there, all the way down to a very specific species. Domain's the broadest, down to species. Now here's a video from another teacher that explains how we go from this large domain all the way down to a specific type of animal or plant.
And so as we move on into taxonomy, taxonomy is the science of classifying life according to shared characteristics. And what I'm going to introduce you to are the levels of classification, the levels of taxonomy. Each individual level is called a taxon. You might know that they start off very broad. The taxon called domain is the broadest of the categories. And then every taxon underneath it becomes a little more specific. Kingdom, and then phylum, and then class, and then order. And within an order could be many families. Within a family could be many genus. Within a genus could be many species. And so you see the levels become more and more specific as you go down. Well, let's look at an example of how we can use those taxonomy levels to show relationships. Let's look at the taxonomy levels of a leopard. You can see there's a bunch of organisms in this collage, and a leopard being one of them. Well, if I were to say a leopard is in the broad category, the domain called Eukarya. Eukarya, eukaryotes, these are organisms whose cells have a nucleus and membrane-bound organelles. Well, not everything in this collage is in domain Eukarya. The bacteria that's flashing, they're not in the domain called Eukarya. But everything else is in this domain called Eukarya. So you can see what I mean by it's a very broad category. But the next level down should be a little more specific. The next level down would be the kingdom called Animalia. Look at the collage. Not everything in this collage that's remaining is an animal. The tree and the mushroom are flashing because they've been eliminated. They're not in the kingdom called Animalia. But all the other organisms that you see are. So even though kingdom Animalia is a little more specific, it's still pretty broad. But the next level down should be even a little more specific. The next level down being the phylum called Chordata. These are animals with backbones. And so right now, the snail, the crab, and the insect are flashing because, yes, these are animals, but they are not animals with backbones. So the next level down, phylum Chordata, you can see is a little more specific, but it's still pretty broad. So the next level down should add even more clarity, more specificity. And so, of the collage and the animals that are remaining, which of these are in the class called Mammalia, the mammals? Well, the fish, the eagle, and the frog are flashing because they're not mammals. But all the organisms that are left are. So you can see every level down becomes a little more specific than the one before it. But still, the category of mammals is still pretty vague. There's a lot of mammals. So the next level down should add even a little more clarity. The order, leopards are in an order by the name of carnivora, the carnivores, the meat eaters. Well, that would eliminate the gorilla and the rabbit. But you can still see there's still a good number of meat-eating mammals. So even the next level down should add even more clarity. Leopards are in a family by the name of the Felidae, the feline family. Well, that would eliminate the bear and the wolf. Bears and wolves are not cats. And so in the Felidae family, we have these three, the lion, the cougar, and the leopard. But even at this lower level, you can see it's still kind of broad. So the next level down, leopards are in a genus by the name of Panthera. Well, that would eliminate the cougar. The cougar's in a different genus category. But the lion and the leopard are both in the genus called Panthera. So even at this very, very, very lower level here, well, second to the last level, you can see that it's still somewhat broad because it applies to more than one species. And finally, leopards are, the species name is Pardus, and so that would eliminate our lion. And so we finally have the taxonomy levels of a leopard here.
All right, there it is, our second lesson on the classification system. What I would like you to do now is there are 2 assignments in the folder for you to do and complete. One of them is about classifying some fish. You're going to use a dichotomous key to go through, find the name of the fish, and then write the name of the fish underneath the fish, the picture of the fish. Or type it, actually. That would be a lot easier for me to grade. And then the second one is a bunch of questions asking you to look at a graphic that shows a breakup of different types of animals and where they belong as far as their domains or phylums or genus, and walk back through and be able to answer the questions that are asked about that graphic. All right, there are 2 assignments to submit for this, so make sure you're submitting each one to the correct place. All right, good luck. Have a good day.